Hey, before we get into this video, I want to give a special shout out to Sharp Game over there at Guy on Girl TV. Make sure you subscribe to his YouTube channel. I actually forgot to give out my YouTube channel while we were talking during our conversation. So here it is. If you go to YouTube, type in the search bar head above water Asia. 4 different words in the search bar. My YouTube channel is the first thing that pops up. The profile picture is a picture that I took at a Japanese grill. You can see the flames coming off the grill. That's my channel. So make sure you subscribe, like, share this video. Subscribe to both of our channels. So head above water Asia in the search bar. That's my channel. And for Sharp Games channel, type in Guys on Girl TV in the search bar. And make sure you subscribe to his channel too. Now let's get into the video. Hey, what up? Checking in. Thank you everybody for tuning in. This is Splash on the mic right now. And on the line with me, I have an author. This guy, he's an author. He wrote a book. He has a website called chooseyourrelationships.com. He has a YouTube channel called Guys on Girl TV. He has a book. What's your book called again?
Love Can't Wait.
Love Can't Wait. And you can get that on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
All right. So on the line with me right now, you just heard his voice. I have Sharp Game. What's going on?
What's up, man?
Man, not much. Shit. All right, man. So for everybody that's tuning in right now, basically me and Sharp Game, we chopped it up last night. We wrote down a few topics. We made a list. I have my own list. You got your list, and we're gonna merge it together. And basically, we're gonna talk about dating and relationships, living abroad, stuff of that nature, and how to improve within yourself. All right. So the first thing on the topic right now is visiting versus living in a foreign country. And the reason why I wrote this down is because a lot of guys think the grass is greener on the other side. I mean, me being in particular, I've witnessed this. I felt the same way when I was like 21 years old. I was visiting, going back and forth from Canada, and I'm thinking Canada was one way. And then when I actually moved there, it was something totally different. So then I took that same mindset, like, hey, I can't think that the grass is always greener on the other side when I first moved over to Thailand, and then I moved over to China. So what was your perspective of Japan when you first moved over there? Because I know you said you moved to Japan before, right?
Yeah, man. Well, before I went to Japan, I knew nothing about Japan. I didn't even know where Japan was located. I had no clue. Yeah, I had no clue at all. I didn't know anything. So before I went over there, well, first of all, when I found out I was going over there, I didn't really know what to think. I thought about going AWOL.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't even know the geographic location of Japan. So of course I heard about Japan, but I mean that was just a country that I knew of, but that I saw on the news or something like that. So I didn't really know what to expect, but I knew the date was set. I had my orders to go over there and everything because I was in the Navy. So I wasn't really thinking about the grass being greener at all. That didn't even cross my mind. I just didn't want to go, But when it comes to that concept of the grass being greener on the other side, that really comes from, it starts like deep in our psyche. Like it comes from mainstream media and the propaganda all around us in the marketing and advertising. And I always say the grass is never greener. It's just a different type of grass. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly. I always tell people, like, because usually guys that come up to me, these are guys, first of all, like, they're people with family issues. You know, father wasn't in the house. They grew up with the mother. They had no friends. They never had a girlfriend. Or some of the women, they never had a boyfriend. They didn't fit in anywhere. A lot of the young black folks, they didn't fit in with other black people growing up. They're socially awkward. So they
Yeah.
sat in their rooms all day, played video games, and they fantasize about Asian anime all day. And they think, okay, well, this is like my escape route right here. This is where I can escape to mentally. And then when they think moving over there, it's physically. And when they watch these anime characters, they're thinking, well, damn, you know, the women, they're that friendly in this anime here. Or, you know, for the women, it's like, you know, the men, they're that friendly in this anime and they're shy. And I know they'll open up to me. And I'm looking at all these other bullshit YouTubers online, how they're lying about being overseas. And I'm like, damn, you know, I'm going to experience that when I get over there, not even thinking that, hey, it's a cartoon. You dig? It's a cartoon. And when you move from one country to the next, if you got 10 problems in America, sure, okay, maybe 6 of those problems will go away when you move overseas. But you're just going to gain another 6 more problems, and you'll have a total of 10 problems still. Hell, you probably even gain an extra 2. You probably have 12 problems when you move overseas. And that's what people are not realizing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Because at the end of the day, if you're socially awkward, you know, it has to do with you more than anybody else. It doesn't matter if you try to escape one situation to the next. That's not going to really help. It's going to really give you. You're going to have more likely. You're going to have more problems. And you know, as far as moving to Japan, and you know, and people kind of like want a different experience, or they looking for a shortcut. I think everybody's experience is going to be different. It's really going to be dependent upon what type of guy you are, or maybe what type of girl you are too. You know, because you know Japan is a male-dominated society, so you know it really depends on why you're in Japan. Maybe you're military, maybe you're there for a job, or you know, working for some big organization. So you know they in Japan they have the caste system, and you know that's their thing. You know, they all about status and what you do and who you roll with and who you associated with. So that type of stuff that makes a difference. That's going to be dictated upon what your experience is going to be like. Of course, that's not the end all be all, but I think that makes a difference.
Right, exactly. And Korea that's another male-dominated society over there too, because it's mandatory that the men over there, they have to do, I think, 2 years of military. All men over there. And so when they get out, they get better jobs than the women. Like the women, the only jobs they can really find is being like a clerk, a store clerk, like a high school job pretty much. Like the women don't really get those
in the
jobs
office
over there. Yeah.
No, they like office jobs, retail, department stores, stuff like that. Same as Japan.
Right.
Same as Japan.
Right.
If a woman in Japan is making a lot of money, she's been working that job for 20, 30 years.
Well, she got that through the family name.
Exactly. That's pretty much how that is, But so that's why I always say a lot of women that come over here, they have a lot of freedom over here.
Right.
They can come over here and, meet as many guys as they want, sleep with as many guys as they want, and still be in demand. And some guys is always willing to wife her up, and she can have kids and do all that good stuff. At any age, 35, 40, she's still in demand.
Well, I mean, when you say over here, you mean America, right? Because I don't think the people.
America.
Yeah,
America.
Yeah, right. For those that don't know, Sharp Game is in Atlanta right now. If you made some great videos talking about Atlanta, I think that was vital information that people really needed to hear. Because there's not too many people keeping it real on YouTube. You know, a lot of people that do keep it real, especially about a city that people fantasize about all day, you know, they get bombarded with hate comments and, you know, and dislikes all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors here in Atlanta, and you know, there's a lot of smoke and mirrors in Japan. You know, but if you don't know, no one's going to tell you and tell you. Maybe you have to find out the hard way, like I did when I was in Japan. You know, but I mean, I visited Atlanta many times in the past, so I didn't fall for any of the traps before I moved here.
right. So and there's another thing that I want to move on to is the definition of culture and how culture ties in with dating and relationships. Now, the same people that I was talking about earlier, you know, the same people, the type of people who want to move to Asia, the ones with family issues, no friends, socially awkward, stuff like that, their thought, like their definition of culture is something totally different than what it is by way of experience. I'm like, you'll never learn culture by reading it in a book, taking it in a class. And even if you move over here, you're still not going to understand somebody's culture right when you move over here. It's going to take a couple years. Hell, some people, they live out here for a decade and they still don't know the ins and outs of whatever the culture is they're living in that country.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because culture is just a fancy way of saying this is what we're doing now. This is what we've been doing for a couple of years. You know, that's all it is. It's not that complicated. See, the problem that gets a lot of people confused, just like I did when I was in Japan, is a lot of stuff that the people are doing, it doesn't have anything to do with culture at all. They're just doing what they want to do at that given time, and they will bend the rules, and you know, at their bend at you know whenever they feel the need to, you know, to get some type of benefit or something like that. You know, so a lot of times if you're a foreigner on the outside coming in, you don't know what's culture. You just assume. You know, you assume just because you've been talking to this girl for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden she cuts you off, and you don't know why. She cuts you off, no notice, no phone call, no nothing. You just don't see her no more. And coming from the outside in, you're thinking like, oh, I guess that's their culture. No, that don't have anything to do with the culture. She just didn't want to talk to you no more. You know?
Right.
So this is why a lot of people get confused because, you know, culture don't have anything to do with hate. Don't have anything to do with being rude. Don't have anything to do with being disrespectful. That ain't got nothing to do with no culture. That's just a personal problem. Issues.
Right.
That's all that is.
Well, the way I see culture is like, you know, from the West, we live in individualistic society. That
Yeah.
part of culture in the West, more so with black folks, because a lot of black people that move over in Asia, even though a lot of black folks that live in America, really don't have any culture. I mean, our culture is pretty much, you know, derives from slavery. Even though we have a rich history before slavery, it seems like a lot of us don't want to tap into that rich history. We don't care. It's all built off capitalism. And then over here, it's a more collectivist society. So, you know, the term saving face really goes a long way out here. A lot of people, they save face.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter if, you know, I'm an individual, if it's just me or whatever, and this is what I want to do. I have to think about my people first because my face represents Japan. My face represents China. My face represents wherever else. And a lot of people, they come over here, mainly black folks come over here with no culture, wearing a kimono, going to the shrine, participating in cultural, you know, festivities. And it's like, that's cool and everything, but people get mad telling me, saying like, hey, don't judge me by all black people, judge me by me. And it's like, homie, it don't work.
No.
It don't work that way.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You're coming
No.
over here in my country. You're begging for a job for my people. You can't even, it's like, they look at us like, look, you come from Africa. Africa is the richest, most resourceful continent on this planet Earth. Africa is keeping all the lights on around the world. And it's like, y'all can't even figure that shit out over there. You got to come over here and get a job. So that plays a part. And then people complain about, the disrespect. And they run into a lot of that when they move over here.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. See, the problem is when you don't own and run anything, that's where the disrespect comes from. Because people are gonna look at you like, well, you don't own anything, you don't run anything, so you're useless. A lot of people look at it like that. And then just being in Japan, the pressure is on to conform anyway. The pressure is on to just do what everyone else is doing. Keep the harmony. Let's keep this thing going. And being an individual, that's looked down upon. That's like people will be. They wouldn't want to associate with you if they'll cut you off, and you won't get invited over to the meetups or the networking events that they have or whatever. So some people that don't have money or don't have resources in Japan will say, well, I guess I kind of have to go along with this until I can get the money and the resources. And when they get the money, they say, what the hell with this? I don't got to do this no more. I know some people that went to Japan. They had money, so they didn't feel the need to conform. They say, I'm not doing that, and that's just what it is.
Right. And with us, it's like, it's more so like a culture of ignorance, and especially for the women. Like, a lot of women really don't last that long over in Asia at all. Like, a lot of them, they barely make it 6 months.
Yeah. I can understand. Yeah, I can understand why, because a lot of them don't have a social life over there. They don't get approached very often. They're not really in demand. So I can kind of see why that would happen. Exactly. I get it. Yeah.
So let's go to a topic that you jotted down over here. Biggest mistakes men make in Asia. And I'm like, damn, where do I start? When I read this, I'm like, shit. Where do I start? Because, I got like 20 different things I wrote down, so I'm going to let you take it away from here. Biggest mistakes men make in Asia, what is that?
They're looking for, they're kind of looking for love. It doesn't exist over there. It doesn't really exist over there. That word, they don't even use that word in Japan. I don't even think, of course, you see couples, more and more today, showing public affection in public or whatever. Every once in a while you might see a commercial, but the commercial is not going to be with Japanese people. It's going to be with European people,
right,
selling some type of product or whatever. So it's not a lot of public display of sexuality, romance, etc. So that concept doesn't really exist over there. And then another thing is there's no empathy. There's no empathy. No compassion. That's not there at all. If you go over there, you can come home from work and tell your wife or your girlfriend, hey, I've been mistreated today at work. The boss said this, said that.
They don't give a damn.
Exactly. They'll say they'll justify and say it was your fault.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell is my fault? I didn't do anything wrong.
They'll be like, well, what are you complaining for? You making all this money. You over here. You got a job. You got your visa. You're making
Work harder.
triple amount the people, the average salary that's over here. What are you complaining for?
Yeah. So it's like it's like a disconnect there. You know, it's like it's just a missing link. Something missing. I don't know what. You know, I don't know what it is. You know.
I think that lack of empathy is actually worldwide right now. You know, like especially with the feminist movement.
Yeah, yeah, but in Japan, they take it to the next level because you know it's kind of like they have a lot of double standards. You know, so it's like one person can say one thing. It's kind of like whatever. The next person say one thing, you're great. I'm like, what? I've been saying that for 6 months. What's going on here? So it's like, and plus, you know, they've been bred and raised to worship everybody of lighter shade, skin complexion over there too. That's real. Yeah, that's a lot of people don't want to talk about that, but that's real over there.
Right. And then like when a woman sees a man complaining or even asking her like, damn, like I thought you was coming home at 9, like it's 1:00 in the morning. Where you been? It's like it looks like it's a sign of weakness to them, and that's very bad over there.
Oh yeah. Because see, women, most of the married women, especially, feel like they can kind of do what they want. You know, especially if it pertains to the job, they feel like the guy is not supposed to say anything.
Yep.
You know, she'll go out. It might be a Friday. She'll go out, get drunk, come back, staggering, then fall on the chair or fall in the bed and go to sleep. The next day, you're not supposed to say anything about that.
Yeah. Right.
And then the next following week, same thing again. You know, she'll come home staggering, drunk, fall in the bed, and come Saturday morning, you're not supposed to say anything. If you say anything about that, that's a sign of weakness. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. You know.
Yeah. And that right there, that's a part of culture that. See, the thing is, man, is like people.
Yeah.
Think,
see that? Yeah.
People think like when they come over to Japan and shit like that, like they think the first woman that they're gonna find that shows them any attention, you know, that might be the one right there. I'm like, no, you're gonna have to go through like 5, 6, 7 of them before you actually get it right and understand them, because you're on their turf.
Yeah, and see, they will use what you don't know against you as leverage.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, women for the most part do that anyway, everywhere. But if you're on the outside coming in, they know you don't know a lot of things. So they're not ignorant to the fact that it is something that I'm doing he ain't gonna know. It's almost guaranteed he ain't gonna know. So they're not ignorant. They know what they're doing.
He don't know the language. He don't know the train stations. Like
exactly. You know, you where I live at, it ain't no English. It's just Japanese.
Yeah,
you know.
He think my mother and my father live in Osaka.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that. This is like no empathy, no compassion. It's like this is why a lot of guys get a divorce.
Yep.
You know, that's one of the biggest reasons. And the next reason is they're not very nurturing. Not very nurturing.
Right.
You know, not very supportive. You know, they kind of too rough with the kids, in my opinion. God damn. I mean, it's like not very nurturing. Let's say if they're not, you know, they don't have the charm and the charisma. You know, I'm not saying all Japanese women, but the majority don't. They don't have the charm and charisma. They don't know what to say to build the man up. You know, if he had a hard day or maybe he's going through maybe somebody died in his family, whatever. They don't really. If anything happens, you know, to you, they don't know what to say in most cases. Yeah, they don't know what to say, really. And if anything happens to you, say you lose your job, you broke your leg, if you're an athlete and lost your contract or whatever, they're automatically going to be looking to upgrade or leave. Automatically.
Yeah.
Because they just don't know what to do. They've been raised to just get up out of there. if the ship is going down, it's time to go.
Right.
It's like the Titanic. It's like the Titanic.
Right.
But see, they treat their relationships like a business.
Exactly. I mean, I think a relationship should be built off of, from an emotional standpoint, financial standpoint, and a sexual standpoint. But when you get into marriage, which we'll get into in a little bit, marriage should definitely be a business move, which a lot of men don't think about that. A lot of men just like, especially in America, especially in your home country, like if you're just getting married off of love, then you're doing it all wrong. It's like now if you're overseas and you get married, a lot of cats they do that for the visa. I can kind of understand that, but I feel like a lot of cats they come over here and they rush into things, and then they find out the hard way about how women think over here. And sometimes I can always tell when a man that comes over here has never pulled anything back home, because he starts bashing American women. It's like, American women, like, they're so inconsiderate. And I'm like, dude, you don't know inconsiderate until you come over here. Like over here, the game isn't for beginners. It's for experts. It's for people who are experienced.
Yeah. That's why I always say, if you're inexperienced, if you're a black man especially, don't talk to these other groups of women. Don't do it. Yeah, you're going to get taken advantage of 9 times out of 10.
Exactly.
It's just a different game, man.
Now, as far as this topic right here, biggest mistakes men make in Asia, one of the things that I wrote down is there's a lot of men seeking validation from women over here, and that's a major problem. Having no standards, seeking validation is like you letting your guard down. You're not, a lot of men don't have morals, ethics, and values, self-respect. I see a lot of women disrespecting men over here, and they kind of take it. I'm like, if you're going to let women disrespect you, you might as well stay at home in America and deal with hood rats there. Don't come over here, dealing with women, just putting up with this shit like, damn, I'd invested too much into moving in this country over here. I might as well just stay and take it. And then when another man come behind you, it's like you ruining it for the other man that has morals, ethics, and values and has self-respect for himself.
Yeah, that happens, man. Because a lot of people feel like they have to put up with that because they don't feel like they in the position to to do better, or they're just probably just not confident in themselves. So a lot of people end up just settling for that type of treatment, unfortunately.
Exactly. And another thing I wrote down was I see a lot of this out here in Thailand. I don't know how it is over there in Japan, but I see a lot of men dating and marrying women with children out here, and it's kind of like
really,
yeah. It be white guys too.
Really,
white guys.
Oh well, okay. If it's a white guy, that's usually they're probably more likely they're tricking off.
No. See. All right, like I understand if you tricking off, if you got your young lady and she's bad, you tricking off your money for the time that you stand there, I get it. But when you holding hands, kicking can, when you pushing the stroller, right, and it's a full-blooded Thai woman, this woman's baby daddy is somewhere out in the country,
Yeah. Yeah. That's what he's just tricking off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see that out here. And no, they're not. It's on a deeper level. Like these guys are actually in relationships with these women. I'm like, especially for
Exactly.
white
But
dudes.
he still is the trick. He might not feel like it.
Oh, of course,
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
course. And I'm like, man, that's a waste of white skin because you could have got you something. You know,
Better than that, right?
exactly. A woman with
Yeah.
education who probably comes from a
Yep.
decent household. Like what? Like why did you come all the way over here to be with a woman and you white and you dealing with a woman who has kids? Like I
I
don't
don't know,
understand
man.
that.
I don't know, but I've seen it. I've seen it in I've never. That would never happen in Japan. No way. No. I've seen it. I've seen it here in America.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
because
I
these
mean,
Asian men out here, they're not doing that.
no, no, they're not doing that. Exactly.
They don't give
They're
a
not doing
damn.
that's like
They'll be single for the rest of their life before they do that.
I'm not doing that. I'm not doing. I'm not doing that.
Hell no.
I just don't see. First off, that's like a ready-made family. You know, you gotta. It's a package deal if you got kids. So you can't say you're gonna hang around, spend time with this woman, and don't think that the kids don't come up into the equation somehow, some way. You know that woman's gonna need something at some time. She's gonna come short on something, bills or whatever, food, whatever the case is. So if you spend a lot of time around this woman with kids, you know she's going to ask you for something. That's just what it is. Yeah.
Exactly. Another thing I wrote
Yeah.
down was a lot of men that make the mistakes that men make over here is I see men like they'll come over here to meet a woman to get married and they bring her back to America, and I'm like, why did you do that?
Well, yeah, it's a catch-22 when it comes to that. See, if you bring the woman back to America, she's gonna pick up some. There's a good chance she's gonna become Americanized. She's gonna pick up them bad habits that they have over here, and especially if you live in a big city. Now, if you live in a small town, you might be okay, but there's always a risk involved when it comes to that.
I know a guy, he had a
And
mail order bride, and he picked up from the Philippines. She didn't look bad, but she was finessing him from overseas. She was like, "Oh, I'm a nurse, but I keep on failing the test." So, and he kept on paying for the test. And those RN tests, registered nurse tests, they're like $500 a pop. And he goes, "Yeah, I know. I keep paying for it." And it was a black dude that was doing this. And so
okay,
by the time they got married and she came over here to America to live with him, it was like the shit just went downhill. It eventually picked up. They got kids now, but he would tell me like, yeah, man, we got into like a little disagreement and she's ignoring me in my own house. Like, I'm like, she ain't talking to you? He's like, no, like, she hasn't said a word to me in like 2 weeks. And it keeps on happening that way. I'm like, hey, man, like.
this is like consistently keep happening like that way.
Well, this was years ago. I don't know how he's doing now,
Oh,
but
okay.
when she came over, that was going on, and I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, I know a couple guys that did that. Really, got girls from Philippines, China. I know a couple guys that did it. Most of them are okay, and then there's a couple of them went bad, like really bad. It's just I think a lot of times it depends on where you live, the environment, who's around you, and how's your family, how's her family, and this the position that her family's in too. That makes a big difference.
oh yeah,
So
yeah,
it's so many moving parts when it comes to marriage and relationships, man. It really is. It's not just the couple. There's so many moving parts. It depends on the position that the guy's in before she gets here, and all kind of stuff comes into play, man.
yeah,
A lot of stuff you can't you can't even prepare for all this shit. You can't, man. I mean, you can plan well, but I'm trying to tell you, you're gonna have to make some adjustments. That's just what it is.
Especially a woman from another country, like.
Yeah, I mean, she has to make adjustments. It's a different, environment. Everyone's speaking English. Maybe where she came from, everyone is not speaking English. Maybe English is not her first language. Maybe where she came from, it's not many people in the area. That's important to some women, And then you got some women it's not so much important to. So it's just a lot of stuff that comes into play, man.
Yeah, exactly. So another thing, man, while we're on the topic of women, here's another thing that a lot of men that are thinking about coming over to Asia that don't really realize that what classifies a woman as no good in Asia.
God, that's a long list.
It's a very long list. And that's why, in my opinion, I don't think there are no dimes in Asia. Like, they're dimes, but those women that are dimes, exactly. They see, as far as marriage in Asia, it's separated in a class, and the wealthy people, the wealthy folks, they're trying to keep that money within their own community. They're trying to circulate that wealth amongst themselves. So the rest of these renegades and the
get leftovers.
You get the leftovers, and it goes down the list. Like, they're like, okay, I can't get this one. I go down another notch with another guy that's in my own community. All right, he don't want me, so I'm gonna get with this white dude. I got ran through by a bunch of white dudes. Now I might get with somebody. Yeah, I might get with somebody that's not white but not black, but somebody's not white. Okay, that's not working out. So then I might get with a black. It just keeps going down the line, And a lot of men, they want to argue with me. There's been cats before arguing with me, talking about, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. I walk around with a bad Asian chick, and a lot of these Japanese guys over here, they be looking at her, staring at her, they be lusting for her. I'm like, dude, see, you know.
No, they're not.
I'm like, there's a difference between the men wanting to fuck your girl and the man wanting to cuff your girl. See, they don't want to cuff your girl that you got. They just want to fuck her. See, you the fool that wants to cuff her. So.
Exactly. Like I said before, these other countries, they follow the caste system. So, the guy that you're not going to get the top girl. That's not gonna happen unless you're a man of high status. But the rest of us that don't have high status, we have to do what we got to do to the best of our ability. That's just what it is. Some guys might not like it, but there's nothing you can do about it unless you're born in a wealthy family.
Exactly.
Or you're a guy of high status. You're a celebrity. Maybe you're from a well-known family in your city. Whatever the case. But if you're an average guy, you're going to have to work on yourself, build up your rep, build up your status, get your money up, get your career up. That's just what it is, man,
Right. And a woman that's classified as no good is a woman as simple as being at the age of 25. And a lot of guys don't realize that, like, what are you talking about? The West, they may think like, because a lot of guys in the West, they don't have no standards. You see, you see women that are 40 years old, 50 years old, they single, and they, remarrying with other men, which I think, that's a good thing. I think at any age you should be able to find a mate or somebody to share with. That's cool. But out here, it don't matter how bad she look. It don't matter how smart she look, how much money she make. If she 25, 26, the men out here, they ain't checking for her.
Yeah, in Japan, if she's 25, she's going downhill. You know, if she's if the guy's, let's say Japanese guy is 30, he ain't looking for a 30-year-old girl.
Hell no.
He ain't touching that. He'll be cordial with her. You know, he might even hit it.
Yeah.
But and it's gonna be at one of them drunk nights. But as far as anything serious, you can forget about it. You know,
Right.
and the only reason he probably would hit it because they work together. That's it. You know, and that's why you in Japan. You got a bunch of women that's in their 40s and 50s that look good, but they're not having this. They're not having no sex. You know, if they are having sex, it's with a foreigner, or with a guy that's if they haven't, put it like this, if she's 45, and if she's talking to a Japanese guy, he's gonna have to be about 60. You know, yeah, they're not touching that. You know, if you look at her, if you meet her, you be like, oh, she's a nice girl. She's nice looking and everything, but hey, they're not touching that. No way.
And it's so much different in other Asian countries. Like I used to live in China, and you know, like there's 40 million more men than women over in China. So
oh really? I didn't know that.
oh hell yeah. So the women, they got options like crazy over there. So most of those women, if a man is not at her call and beckon, she's gonna drop him like it's nothing. And they're very picky, they're very petty, very materialistic over there. So if you're a man, you work hard, you might not be making that much money, but if you show up, you trying to step to a woman, and you know they got the new iPhone X that just came out. If you got the iPhone 7 or the iPhone 8, she's like, oh, that's an iPhone 8? I'm not fucking with you. Simple as that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
really?
Like, yeah, you don't have a car? You don't have a car? I'm not fucking with you. And then she's like, if they do get into a relationship, she'll be like, hey, look, tomorrow I need you to take me to the doctor's office. I got an appointment. It's like, tomorrow I'm very busy at work. I have a presentation and there's a couple meetings. Like, it's very busy at work. Oh, well, if you ain't got time for me, then it's over. It's as simple as that over there in China. It's cutthroat over there. So
they're like that because they can, because you know it's a numbers game.
Right.
Oh wow. So
why go ahead.
Why do you think it's like that? Why do you think they socialize the women? The women have more opportunities than guys over there. What's it like?
I mean, like. The thing is it's almost, I won't say night and day, but how do you see? The thing is, most of America's wealth, I won't say most of it, but a good majority of America's wealth is trapped into China's economy. Okay, so there's millionaires popping up all over the place all the time within China, because when a company wants to do business over there in China, China won't let you take that money out and take it back to America, but we do that for some reason. We allow Chinese people to go to America, make money, and then bring that wealth back to China, not the other way around. So there's a lot of money, a lot of new millionaires popping up all over the place, but there's still poverty. There's still a lot of poor people over there.
Yeah. It has to be.
Exactly. So
it has to be.
A lot of these women, they're trying to come up. And another thing is, like I said, there's 40 million more men than women. So they know that they have options. It's just like a woman in America that's on the internet. You know, she posting up little thirst trappy pictures or whatever, and she got 1,000 dudes that's liking it, sending comments and DMing her. She got options. But it's a difference between the options that women have. Women over in America, they might have a regular woman might have a few hundred options or a few thousand options in America. In China, they got millions of options, and sex don't mean nothing to a woman over there, because a man and a woman get into a relationship, they might not ever have sex. I knew this one guy.
Wow.
He was in a relationship with a woman, and they broke up, and he was just kind of down. I'm like, damn, damn, you all right? He's like, yeah, but we were together 5 years. I'm like, damn. He says, we never had sex. I'm like, you were with her for 5 years and you never had sex? He's like,
well, why not? Why not?
I said that. I'm like, why didn't you just leave? He goes, where else am I going to go? He goes, there's a shortage of women here. Those women, they're sleeping with the foreigners. They don't want to get with me. I'm not making the wage that they want me to make because, like I said, they're very materialistic. They're very picky because they have options. So he's a regular Joe Blow because a Chinese, the average Chinese salary with somebody that has a degree is only like $900 over there, $900 a month. Whereas a teacher that goes over there, they're making between 15 and 20,000 renminbi a month, which is up to $3,200 a month. So you're talking about a Chinese man that has a degree who has the money to go to school, and the most he can make is only $900, with somebody who has a fake degree teaching English, they're making $3,200 a month. So you can imagine some of the guys who didn't have the money and resources to go to school, how much they're making. They're making $400 or $500 a month. They have to take the bus everywhere they go. They can't even afford to get on the train over there. And it's hard.
Expensive. It's expensive to live over there, right?
No, not in China. Now, it depends on where you live, the location, but no, it's real cheap over there.
Okay.
It's cheap over there. Wow. But that's how the dating game is over there.
So how do most women act? How do I interact with foreigners? Like, say if you're a black dude going in China.
Well, as far as Chinese,
I know it's gonna vary. I know it's gonna vary.
Yeah, it does vary, and it depends on where you're spitting at women and what are their morals and stuff like that. Because like if you go to Nanjing is like on the outskirts of Shanghai. It's in a smaller town because China's huge. So you got some of these little small cities, but they still got like 5-6 million people in them. You go to a smaller town,
man.
Yeah, you go to a smaller town where it's more laid back. People aren't really on the go like that to just be, just to make money. They're doing okay. You might find you a decent woman over there. But still, like, there's still a lot of racism over there, and they're very open about it. Whereas, like, if you're in the main, the bigger cities like Beijing, Shanghai, I think Beijing has, like, 26, 27 million people in that city.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's real cutthroat. It's real cutthroat. People come from these small towns to move in the major city thinking that they're going to get some money, living in a city where they have like more resources, and they get a wake up call. But at the end of the day, when they see you with their women, when a Chinese man sees you with their women, you black, all hell breaks loose. Like they'll attack you. Like I remember when I was there,
I heard about that.
Yeah, the woman got stabbed to death by another Chinese man because she was walking with a white foreigner. Like, if for those that's listening, if you go back to Tiananmen Square in 1989, 1988, the massacre that happened over there, that whole uprising was because they only say that it was students, like it was an uprising with the students acting unruly and it got out of hand. No, what happened was like the African exchange students that were over there, they were bringing Chinese women back to the dorms. Like they saw a lot of them with Chinese women, and then they felt like the Africans were getting better treatment than them. So that pissed them off.
I don't like that.
They wanted to gather all the Africans and beat them. So then they had to send in the tanks. That whole thing was just them getting pissed off at black folks. Because they saw them with their women. And, a lot of, you hear different stories. No, that's the real story right there. So, but really with any foreigner, they don't like them with any foreigner, but they see like if you're dating somebody white, you're dating somebody, you're moving up in life. Like the way Chinese
Exactly.
people do, like when they take pictures with white folks over there, it's almost like they're taking pictures with like a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce or a Wraith. You know, somebody black,
Yeah.
they take pictures of black folks over there and they make memes of them. You know,
Yep.
and then they post them on different Chinese websites, and they make fun of you all day. You know, they'll bash you in the newspapers over there. Like, and you know, the newspaper, whatever you publish in the newspaper, it has to get approved by the government. So they'll talk about, oh, you know, we're having a black problem over here in Guangzhou, and they have AIDS, and you know, they put
Sounds
that in the
like
newspaper over there.
that sounds like America to me. That's what it sounds like.
It's way worse over there. It's way
Yeah. I
way
think the only
worse.
difference. That sounds like the only one of the biggest differences is they're just honest. They say it was on their mind.
Exactly.
And over here, you know, they follow the status quo over here. Everything has to seem like it's not how it is. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors over here. But in these other countries, there's no status quo. This is how they do things. And I heard guys can be very aggressive over there. I heard about that.
Oh hell yeah.
I heard about that for years. I was talking a couple guys I know taught English over there, and they were saying, "Yeah, guys can be very aggressive." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah,
You know.
I was dating this chick over there, and she was 23 years old, real slim, real fine, um, real cute, educated, making pretty good money. We were together, and we would walk in public. Like she would have to keep a distance and have her arms folded when she would walk with me, and it's not that she was ashamed of me. She was like, "I'm doing this to protect both of us because."
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
we're showing, you know, signs of affection towards each other out in public, people will attack us like physically. And there's been a lot of brothers over there that, you know, they were just with their girl, the Chinese girl, and they were attractive. And like a mob of Chinese people would come through and beat both of them up. And then the guy, you know, he's protecting himself, fighting people off, but because he sat there and defended himself, you know, they're like, no, we're gonna throw you in jail. And there are guys still sitting in jail right now for protecting themselves.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because what they call that I heard about that in the military. They call that something when basically if you get in trouble in a foreign country and if you're from America, the government, the U.S. government is not going to back you. You know, they're not going to do it. You're at the mercy of the authorities over there. Basically, I forgot what they call that. You know, but you know, it's unfortunate, but it happens. But hey, man, you have to defend yourself.
Yeah, and I mean it's different in every other
Every country,
country. Like people think,
yeah.
and one of the mistakes that a lot of men make is like they bring their Western way of thinking and their Western way of dating and relationships over to another country, and it's like it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying?
No, it doesn't.
You know,
It
it's
don't
like
work that way at all.
you got like nobody's gonna teach you nothing, and then there are unwritten rules, so you can't pull up.
Yep.
You can't go to the government website, pull up the laws, and be like, okay, this is what men do, and blah 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 blah. A lot of people don't even keep it real on the internet, on YouTube, when they say when they talk about these countries.
Yeah, you know, a lot of stuff that I see today, I just cringe. I'd be like, what are we doing out here, man? What are we saying? A lot of people are lying to people, and that's one of the biggest problems I had in my 20s. Everyone kept lying. Every time I tried to find out something, if I wanted the truth, I always had to pay for it. I always had to pay somebody to find out the truth. You know, because if the information was free, they always got to mix the lies in between. You know, so now you got to pick out the lies. It's going to take you couple weeks, couple months to piece together with all the lies. So it's that same, attitude that it's everywhere. It's kind of like, it's kind of seductive. It's hypnotic. Some people might say. So it's like people are not going to tell you the truth. You go to these other countries, they definitely ain't going to tell you the truth.
No.
And see, in their mind, they don't think, if they know you don't know certain things, they don't think that anything's wrong with not telling you. They think it's like, hey, it's I want what I want, so I got to do what I got to do to get what I want, and that's it. So it's like they'll sacrifice you, even if y'all could be friends, but they'll still sacrifice you. I just never, and it's like when I first went over there, I was kind of like naive, because I used to think, well, hey, if I'm cool, I mean, if I don't have anything against you, I mean, you shouldn't have anything against me. You shouldn't screw me over. But that's not the case at all. Just because you think you're a nice guy, you're cool, you're cordial, that don't mean people want to take advantage of you.
Exactly.
That's the American way of thinking, and that's called being human. That's what's called being a human being. Somebody that's with good morals. That's all it's called, but everybody doesn't think like that. That's the problem. Everybody doesn't think like that.
Exactly. And another thing is, like, when you come out to these countries, man, and you can still find a decent woman who's educated, making good money. And I don't want to just base it all on money, but at the end of the day, like, love don't pay the bills. So love itself just doesn't pay the bills. So you're looking for a woman to build with. You can find a decent woman out here. I'm not saying you can't.
Yeah.
But just know that in Asia, man, most of these people's way of thinking and their culture, especially for black men out there, they're rebuking you. They're rebuking you in the name of white Jesus, because their whole thing is putting skin whitening, skin bleaching. When they open businesses on their, on the banners and on the ads and on the pamphlets, it's nothing but white folks on there. I'm like, damn, they don't even put their own on there. It's nothing but white folks.
No, because I used to see, if you go to Japan, I've been to Japan 2 years ago, and I'm sitting down looking at TV, looking at the commercials that come on. So, most of the commercials is Japanese guys, right? Every once in a while, they'll have a Japanese woman, but most of the time, if you have like a couple, two couples, or a male and a female paired up in a commercial, if it's a Japanese guy, it's a white woman. It's never a Japanese girl with a Japanese guy. Like, never. So I'm like, what's going on over here? Mm-hmm. And if the banner, the same thing. Now, most of the banners are Japanese guys, but if they have to have a female on there, it's going to be the European woman and the Japanese guy. So I'm asking the people over there, because I still know people in Japan, right? Yeah. I'm saying, y'all don't think anything's wrong with that? I'm not saying you should have a problem with it. I'm not saying you should do anything about it. But I'm just saying, do you think anything's wrong with that?
Right.
And some of them say, well, yeah, I can see, where you come from. I'm like, how come he can't have a Japanese girl in the commercial with the guy?
Exactly. And you know what? I remember I was dating this one chick out here in Thailand. Bad, young chick, she had a tan, Thai woman. She was 23 years old, educated. I remember one time we were sitting down talking, and she told me, she was just like, I guess we were discussing, I think I mentioned something about something that goes on in the black community or something like that. We just talking about, both of our people, whatever. And so she said, like, yeah, you know, and it's like I noticed like it's a huge issue in the black community. You know, it's like this huge fight between like dark skin and light skin and blah, 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 blah. And I said,
Flowco,
hello?
I went to the wrong door. Long day, man.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh, shit. Where that brother from? That brother sounded like he was from Wakanda somewhere.
Yeah, you from the islands.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he was Black Panther or Baku or something like that. Nah. But she was talking about, yeah, I noticed that in the black community, you know, it's like this is beef, you know, between each other. There's a lot of infighting between dark skin and light skin, and she said it's so sad. I said, hold on a minute there. I said, whoa. I'm like, I know you ain't talking. I'm like, I know you ain't talking because not only all throughout Asia, but especially in Thailand, I'm like, there's a lot of dark-skinned people out here that are just as dark as black folks. And they don't show none of y'all on TV. They don't show none of y'all on none of these banners or billboards or, you know, a storefront. You know, you got a haircut. You got a haircut storefront. You got a barbershop, a beauty salon, and you telling women like, hey, you know, I can fix you up. I can give you this look right here. Pick from 1 to 40. I can give you any of these looks. And they all Britney Spears and Taylor Swift.
It's like that. It's like that every country that's been colonized.
Yeah.
Every country as soon as you get off the airport, as soon as you get off the plane, you go through the terminal, you come out, first store you see, first banner you see, it's gonna be a woman that doesn't look like the native people there.
Exactly.
That's any country that's been colonized or any country that's been exploited, like Thailand. You know, they don't necessarily have to be colonized, but if they've been exploited like Thailand, you know, you're going to see the same thing. I don't care if you go to Indonesia, Thailand, the Philippines, Japan, whatever, on and on and on. You know, and every group of people has that color dynamic. You know, with the fighting and the who's better because they're lighter, who get more opportunities because they're lighter. All these people. Every group of people have the same problems, except for the Caucasian.
Yeah. You know?
And
that whole dark skin, light skin thing in the black community, it's like
it's a game.
I don't really think it's as bad as what other people make it out to be. It's not as bad as Thailand. It's not as bad as Korea.
Oh, no, it's not that bad
as Japan because people will kind of joke about it because of how they've been influenced by the media and all that other sort of shit. But the thing is you still see light-skinned women getting with dark-skinned brothers. You see dark-skinned brothers getting with light-skinned women. You see dark-skinned people getting together all the time. We showcase all of our colors. So I don't know what people are talking about.
I think now there's like subgroups or, you know, the frat groups or whatever, you know, they have their little thing going on, the Jack and Jill and
Blue Vein Society.
But, yeah. So, but you know, that's a very subgroup, small, you know, sector within black society or whatever, you know. But even they don't even make a big deal about it. I know some of these women, you know, I know some of these people, but they don't. They do discriminate, but it's not really based on just skin color. It's based on education, job, title, and all that crap that nobody really cares about most of the time. But it's not like these other groups though. These other groups, they kind of take it to the next level.
Oh hell yeah!
You know, they don't want to even associate with certain groups of people because of just skin color and where you live. They take it to the next level, man. You know,
they're like, bitch, you no good to me. If you dark skin, like I was dating. There was another chick I was messing with out here, and she came from, you know, her family had money. You know, she had her own house. She was young too, like 22 years old. She had her own house. She had her own car. You know, a huge backyard, a couple dogs back there. We were seeing each other for a while, and I always ask about a woman's ex because I want to see how did you get to the point on dating a black man. You know, I hate to
Yeah.
I hate to put it like that, but I always ask questions.
Yeah, that's very important.
Right.
To me, that's very important.
I want to know, how did you end up dating a black man? So then she told me, like, you know, time in it was very controlling, and her dude told her, like, because she was already very white, like her skin was white, you know, but she was like, you see how my skin looks? I said, yeah. She said her ex dude who was Thai told her, you need to be whiter. I'm like, but anything whiter, you're gonna look like a goddamn ghost.
Why did he say that?
I don't know, man. Like, that's just how they think over here. People are putting, like, you know, in Thailand, people are putting just, you know, they're risking, you know, getting skin cancer just to be white. And a lot of them, they can't afford, like, the good treatments. So they get the 7-Eleven skin whitening powder.
Yeah. You know what I thought was crazy the first time I came to Thailand is at the time I left my bag. I was still in the Navy first time I went to Thailand. I left my bag on the ship, right, with like lotion and you know, just hygiene stuff.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, I'm gonna go to the store and get me some lotion or some cream or something like that. I could not find any cream or lotion without no skin whitener. I thought that was the craziest thing ever. I said, are you serious? You know, I can't find no lotion? What? This is crazy. Everything is skin whitening. I'm like, and the lady, by the time I went to the fourth or fifth store, I said, yo, something's going on out here, man. So I asked the lady in the store, y'all don't sell lotion? Just regular lotion? She's like, no. I'm like, this is crazy. You know,
No,
I thought that was the craziest thing.
You go in a hotel, don't matter what hotel you go into, you use that, you know, the hotel soap, you'll be burning. You'll be burning. And
this is crazy.
they take that serious. I'm like, why would you discriminate against your own people because they're a shade darker than you? And you see that amongst the jobs. Like, you'll go into, because I remember, you know, we talked on the phone last night or whatever, and I asked you, when's the last time you've been in Thailand? You said it was like, what, 98, 99?
Yeah, 99.
Yeah, see, things have totally changed out here because, you know, ever since then, this was before they had the subways, you know, the BTS, the MRT, and now they have a luxury mall built on every train station over here. And the average mall is like 12 stories. Think about that.
Wow.
So it's like, you know, in America, you know, that Lenox Mall, what's that like?
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3 stories, right?
Yeah, 2 stories.
Yeah, it's 2 stories. Nah, I mean, 2 stories, that's like, you know, that's the grocery store out here. That's Big C's out here. The malls out here, nah, it's 12, 13, 14, 15 stories. And
Man, somebody's spending some money out there.
oh yeah. So like,
Man.
you know, like half of them, like, you know, half of those stories, those floors is all skin whitening clinics, skin whitening. But next to them, it's like Balenciaga, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, you know, stuff like that. So when you walking through the mall, you see, damn, all right, the people that are working at these high-end luxury stores, they're pretty light-skinned. They're pretty white.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But the security guards they look like a brother. The males that are security guards, they look like a brother. And I never forget. And it kind of hurt my heart when I saw this. First time I came to Thailand, I was living in Chiang Mai. And there's a mall up there called Maya Mall. For those that ever been to Chiang Mai, they know what I'm talking about. So I will walk to Maya Mall like every day, right? And there used to be this dude, the security guard, sitting outside. He was very dark skinned, and he used to be sweating his ass off because it's 100 degrees every single day out here in Thailand. So he's sweating his ass off, and then they got security guards inside, but they're more white, you know, light skinned on the inside in the mall.
Yeah.
And every time I go to them, I never saw them rotate with this guy. They never allowed this guy to come in and do his job inside and everybody rotate. They was like, no, he's dark. He stays outside. I'm like, I'm not going outside because I'm gonna get dark like him. So I'm like,
Yeah, that's. I mean, if you're in most security companies operate like that. Unfortunately, yeah, yeah. I used to work. Yeah, I used to work for G4S, and
G4S is out
certain.
here.
Yeah, G4S is everywhere
Yeah.
at this point. They're everywhere. They're worldwide. But I used to certain buildings. They play that same game. You know, if you're like if you need a bodyguard or something like that, it's going to be the biggest built guy that we have, basically. Or if they need somebody outside at a branch bank, it's going to be, a tall guy, or if he's short, he's going to be cut. Yeah, so they play on stereotypes.
Yeah.
If you need somebody inside, it's going to be a white guy or a white woman, or a black woman inside. So certain sites they play the same game.
Yeah,
It's
it's
unfortunate,
crazy.
but
It's
it
crazy.
is.
So to wrap up that topic, man, what classifies a woman as no good? We already stated that if you're over the age of 25, you're no good. If you're too dark skinned, if you're too dark out here, you're no good. If you're too pudgy out here, you're classified as
Fat.
no good. And
Yeah.
fat, their definition of fat out here is totally different than in America.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, if you're you could be 15 pounds overweight. They say that's fat.
Like if an Asian woman is built like Beyonce out here, that's too fat, and the
Oh,
men
she's
don't.
fat. Yeah,
They don't.
that's
They don't
too,
want her.
Yeah, that's too big.
They don't want her.
Yeah.
The only place where I seen where some of the men did get with women that were a little bit heavier was in Korea. That was the only
Yeah.
place because it's cold as hell over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, in Korea, women are very thick in Korea.
Oh yeah,
There's some women that are thick in Korea. I was kind of surprised.
they built like sisters over there, ain't they?
Yeah, I was kind of surprised. See, Japan, you're gonna see some of that, but not a lot. But in
Right.
Korea, they really, women are thick like they're in America in some places. I was surprised, man.
I tell cats all the time. I'm like, y'all sleeping on Korea because, I just got back from over there back in November. And
Yeah, Korea has it changed a lot
when's the last time you been?
in the 90s.
Oh shit, yeah, it definitely has changed a lot. Like on my channel, like I record a lot of video footage from when I was over there back in November. So I'm slowly putting them out, and I'm showing people what it looks like over there. But I don't know, like it's more modern. It's like a mix between China. You can sense a bit of China, that Chinese vibe there, but it's clean. It's a mix between
Okay.
China. Like if you took China and Japan and you put it together, that's Korea. With K-pop, that's Korea.
Okay.
Their own food, that's Korea. And the thing is over there, like a lot of those women, because the first two times, see, and that's another thing that's why I talk about visiting versus living in a country, because you could visit a country twice and form an opinion, but then when you actually
Yeah.
live there, it's totally different. So when I visited there the
Yeah.
first two times, I was like, damn, people aren't really that foreigner friendly over here like that.
No,
People,
that's how it was when I went there. I never had a good experience in Korea at all.
yeah,
It was horrible.
But this last time, that I went, like random people on the street were saying hello to me.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I was shocked.
What part of Korea?
I was in
Did you
Seoul.
go?
I was in Seoul. There's
Okay.
a station called Selim Station. It's right next to Seoul National University, and about 6 or 7 stations down from the Gangnam area. I don't know if
Okay.
you went there when you were there, but
No.
they
No.
were more foreigner friendly. When I would go to different shops, I remember there's a shop I used to go to. It's in Namdae Moon Market. I used to get my kimchi bokkeumbap over there. So when I would go there, they'd just be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, what do you want? All right." So they're just like, "I guess I gotta help you now." But they helped me, but they just, they weren't, show some,
weren't welcoming.
Yeah, they weren't enthusiastic about, helping me. But they, this time when I went, I walked in, the dude jumped up, was like, hey, he pulled my chair out, he wanted to help me. I was like, God damn.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. So then every other store that I went to, the people that knew English there, they would come and talk to me. They would sit down and have conversations with me, like,
wow.
And I went to a bar, the workers there, they wanted to sit down and talk with me, ask me about America. Another guy, where I used to get my fruit smoothies from, he would sit down and talk with me. I'm like, damn, this isn't the Korea that I knew before.
Maybe they've been looking at television a lot lately.
Maybe so. And another thing is, like, the women over there, they I think a lot of women like brothers over there, and I'm not one of those type of guys.
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. But it's just are they willing to have a conversation? Or make
Not
the
at
leap?
all. Not at all.
That's another thing.
I don't know. See, like in China, you get on, you sit on a train, and that train will be packed. But when you actually are able to grab a seat, somebody's not going to sit next to you. They're going to keep that open, or they're going to move aside because they don't want to sit next to a black man. I'm serious.
I heard about this. They do that. They do that in Japan too. On the train. They do that in Japan.
In Thailand, they act pretty funny as well. In Korea, the women weren't really doing that, especially this time around. The women, like, if I was on the train, a woman wasn't moving on the other side of the train to get away from me. It's like they wanted to be next to me. It's like they wanted to, get as close as possible. And then it was almost like they were eye fucking brothers over there.
Oh yeah.
I felt like women were eye fucking me over there. I was like, damn.
Yeah. See, in Japan, you're gonna get all of that. You're gonna get a combination of everything. Some women are gonna want to sit next to you. Some women don't want to sit next to you. Some women are gonna be staring at you, and some women ain't gonna look at you at all. You're gonna get everything in Japan on the train. That's the thing. You're not gonna just get just one thing. And see, a lot of guys, even a lot of women, black women in Japan, they get stares too. See, a lot of people take the stares wrong. I said, no, they stare at what they like. But a lot of people say, hey, I ain't used to nobody looking at me like that. Say something to her. She'll stop staring in. Yeah, see, a lot of people take the stare the wrong way. And because they'll stare at you and start smiling. That's when you know what time it is.
That should never bother me.
Me either. I thought it was funny.
I got a homeboy right now. He's like, man, I don't want to visit that country. They be staring at people. I'm like, that shit bother you? Like,
I mean, just stare at you in America. I mean, women do that. It doesn't happen very often, but if a woman stares at you in America, 9 times out of 10, if she stares at you long enough, she's gonna say something. So it's that's just what it is.
But what I noticed, like, Korean women, like, when you meet a Korean woman outside of Korea, there's a strong connection there. Because out here in Thailand, like, the women that I really get along with the most out here are Korean women.
Yeah, because there's no pressure. There's no pressure. Yeah, there's no family, no parents. 9 times, there's no parents there 9 times out of 10. But you might have some family there, but it's not immediate family.
Exactly.
So there's no pressure. It's like, I can kind of be by myself and don't really have to worry about being judged or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so moving on. I'm going to pull up a topic that you typed right here. how most women see relationship with men, especially if you're a foreigner.
Well, I think just across the board today, women see it as a business. Really, I mean, it's like you got your personal relationships and you got your business relationship, and most women don't let either of those relationships intertwine in most cases. Now, if a woman finds a guy that she can have a personal relationship with and he can provide, oh man, that's like a dream come true. But it probably won't happen for most women, especially here in America. Because that's it. Sex is a big deal to women. That means a lot to them. You know, Of course, they want somebody to provide, and we know that. If a woman sells with you, she wants someone that can provide because she feels safe. And sex is a big deal. This is why you have a lot of women that will settle with a provider, and that guy might not fulfill all her needs sexually. So what she'll do is every once in a while she'll sneak out with some other guy. So that tells you right there. And women are women been doing this. It's not new, but they're doing it more today than ever because they can actually, there's more groups, subgroups, and in these big cities, there's much more people than there was back in the day. And then you have a lot of guys that are down with it. There are a lot of guys will marry these women or settle with these women or live with these women. They're down with it. They'll be like, hey, I'm trying to keep my marriage together, so I don't want to get a divorce. So hey, I got to do what I got to do to keep her happy. So that's that dynamic out here today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't judge. I try not to judge people. I say, hey, if that works for y'all, knock yourself out. That's it. I'm not the moral police.
And what I see out here mainly is like there's a lot of women that will, especially in Thailand, a lot of these women they'll get with and try to marry. Some of them, I don't even think they want marriage like that. A lot of them don't want marriage because a lot of them, like, it's more so a status thing. It's status. Because you got these women, like, that are Thai, they want to have, like, a traditional Thai wedding. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, to have a traditional Thai wedding, you got to come out the pocket because you got to give an offering, like, symbolism of your love to the woman. And the men, they do that for each other, like that, and it's in the form of gold. And the gold, a lot of these families, they come together when a family has a boy, that's when they start saving up. All the family, they coming together to save up for this young man, so that when he marries a woman, he can offer up to, I think, like $6,000 to $10,000 worth of gold for the woman. Saying like, hey, I can secure you, I can provide shit like that. But the thing is, it's like, you got some of these women, like before, if you're not in that high class, you're not in that class of ties that are wealthy. Because the wealthy ties, they don't want to have nothing to do with the, some of the middle class or the lower class ties that are out here. Some of them are snobbish. And these are just going by the words that people tell me. Like, I'm around them. I know some of them, but I'm going to just say, like, hey, that's their words. The ones that weren't able to find a mate in the wealthy class, the ones that weren't able to find a mate within their own class, they get over to trying to get with a white dude. And a lot of them, they want to find a white dude with money so that it's like, okay, now I can floss and I can shit on a lot of these broads that shitted on me growing up, telling me I was too fat, telling me I was too dark, or telling me I had an attitude or I wasn't complying with whatever they, for the get down or whatever, being controlling. Yeah. So a lot of them, they, hurt people. So you being a guy who's been hurt in America, who never had experience with women. You come over here, you just take any old thing that comes your way because, hell, the women weren't giving you no play over in America anyways. You really don't know how it is to really be with a woman. So you come over here, and just because you white, these Thai women that get with you, and now since you don't know no better, you know, they're treating you a certain way because hurt people hurt people. It's like, hey, I've been hurt from my own community, so I want to rush with you. I'm going to do this. I'm cooperative, but I want to rush things through, you know, as far as status. So a lot of women, when they get with these white dudes out here, from 3 days of knowing them, they're telling them like, hey, I want you to have my baby. I've seen messages. I've seen dudes show me messages like, like this place is scaring me. Like I've only been here 3 days and this woman's telling me she want my baby.
How did he respond to that?
I'm like, well, he asked me first, how should I respond to it? I'm like, look here.
What did you tell him?
I told him, look here, man, you can't tell her. I'm like, is she a prostitute? Did she come at you as like a prostitute or something? He said no. You know, like we're trying to build in a relationship. I said, dude, let me tell you something. You don't ever want to outright just break up with a woman over here. You can't tell them this ain't working out. I gotta move on. See a lot of black people, they think the white guys just got it made out here, and that's not the case.
They don't.
That's not the case. So I said, dude, you white. You got to tell her, like, hey, man, there's a death in the family. You know, my mother passed. I got to go back to America. And just make sure you don't go in the same spots that she goes to anymore. Yeah. I'm like, do you work out here? He said, yeah. I'm like, okay, now you got to just deal with her until you leave. You know, because, like, I knew this one white dude. He was teaching out of school in the outskirts of Bangkok. And he just told this one girl the town that he was in, I'm in this town. He never said that he was teaching English. And this woman lived way up north in Thailand. So she was like, oh, you live in that town? Okay, this is what I'm going to do. So the next time he got on the phone with her, she said, hey, you know, I found out your teacher and what school you live at. And they gave me your information. Yeah, this is your first name, last name, your address that you're staying at here, your passport number, your social security number. Like she had all this information on him because the school just gave it to her because she was Thai. Like no sense of security at all. And he was like, dude, like that scared the shit out of me. Like it's like that out here. I'm like, it's like that for you. It ain't like that for me. See, I mean, me as a black man, I could tell a woman out here, hey, this ain't working, bye. She gonna be like, okay, bye. She gonna be happy I'm gone. You know what I'm saying? But with the white dudes, when you say, bitch, I'm gone, you are not leaving. You're not leaving comfortably.
Yeah. You gotta be tactful in how you say things and the words you choose.
Exactly.
You know? I think that's a good idea for every guy, to be honest. You know, especially if you're overseas. I think it's a good idea. You know, my dad told me, he said, hey, always be a gentleman. Always. Regardless of how maybe that woman is acting crazy or maybe the guy's acting crazy. Whoever you're talking to, he said, don't let what you say be dictated upon how they act. Yeah, you know, that's what I always pretty much live by those words. You know, always, even if I get upset, you know, it's like I'm still gonna be me. I'm not gonna act crazy just because they're acting crazy. You know.
Yeah, exactly. I do the same thing. Like, you know, I mean, I for sure I'm gonna check a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Boy, I'm not gonna do no. It ain't gonna be world star.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go off. Yeah, I'm not gonna go off in public. That's another thing. Right. Now, there is a time to go off if I have to defend myself physically. Yeah, that's a different story. If someone touch me, well, gloves off. I gotta do what I gotta do.
Like I mean, it depends. Cause in America, for sure. In America, yes. Canada, yes. But in Asia, no. Asia, you defend yourself these people out here, especially in Thailand, these people out here on the
Yeah.
streets, they don't care if you're defending yourself. They see like, hey, this man put his hands on one of ours. The whole street will come out of the taxi, off their motorbikes, from their little food stands, and whoop your ass out here.
Yeah,
They don't care. I've seen it.
yeah. I've seen it. I've seen that too. But there's nothing you can really do about that. I mean, if you have to defend yourself, you just have to.
The best way of defense out here is to run.
Well,
If you don't want to go to jail, if you don't want a mob chasing you, you just run.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But the whole idea is if you have to beat somebody up, don't stay there. Get up out of there afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna stay in that spot. No. Once I get that guy off me, I'm out of there. I'm not gonna stick around and wait for the cops. No.
Right.
No way. I wouldn't even do that in America. I ain't gonna do that nowhere else.
if you think you're gonna get a win over here, you won't have time. You might have time to give in a quick 2-piece and run off, but still, that's gonna catch up with you because, especially in Bangkok, there's only a handful of black folks out here.
Probably, man.
They'll catch up with you again. They'll be like, "Oh, you did this to him? Well, he spit in my face. We don't give a damn. You going to jail? You're gonna sit in there for 3 years."
You gotta just do the best you can, man. That's the pros and cons when it comes to being in other countries too.
Yeah.
That's just what it is, man.
Right.
That's what it is. I mean, you try your best. That's why it's good to be tactful and be aware of your surroundings and your environment and how you interact with people. That's where all that comes in at. But the problem is you can just do everything right and it still go bad.
Exactly.
That's just that's just a part of life sometimes, man. It's crazy, but it happens.
Another thing on how most women see relationships with men, especially if you're a foreigner, I want to talk about the people within that community that look at you now. Interracial marriage and sex is looked at as warfare, especially with Asians, because a lot of Asians they mimic what white people do in the dominant society, pretty much in order to fit in and be accepted. Because whites, they have control of the resources, so they want to copy whatever they do in order to hopefully get where they are, get those resources. So they think like them. So it's like when they see somebody black with somebody Asian, they look at that as warfare, and sometimes they might react to it. I know we talked about that earlier, but especially out here in Thailand, they react to it as well. Like, now, if you're on the strip, like in Pattaya, you're on the strip, it's kind of like, okay, all these are working women. We don't really give a damn. You can, as long as you paying, you can get whatever woman you want down there.
That's a money thing.
Exactly. So they're not tripping if you because in their minds, those women, every woman that's working on the night strip, on the whole stroll, they all no good anyway. So they don't give a damn. But if you're walking around during the day with a woman of a certain caliber out here, a few people, they're going to have something to say. Because I've walked around with some good-looking women, and, these cab drivers say something slick, these motorbike taxi drivers, they say something slick. People that are preparing your food are saying something slick to you.
Yeah, I've had the same experience in Thailand. Yeah, that's just what it is, man. I mean, people hate up; they don't hate down.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just gonna happen. Almost every woman that I think I've been with, that I spent, not necessarily a relationship, but every woman that I spent a lot of time around, somebody had something to say, and I just kind of got used to it. I was like, yes, that's just coming with the territory. I don't know, man. Hey, but I'm gonna do me regardless. But my dad told me, he said, hey, if ain't nobody talking about you, you ain't doing much. So hey, man, I just always remember that stuff you used to say. I mean, when I was younger, I didn't get it, but as I got older, it makes sense. But another thing you have to realize is, I mean, somebody's always going to have something to say, man. If you're just a average Joe, you don't want to ruffle any feathers. You want to just go to work, back home, hit the couch, look at Netflix or whatever. Just take what you get. You can live that life. You won't have no haters. No one's gonna really know who you are. You can live that life for a long time. But that's just average, mediocre life. Kind of bored. You have no haters. You be cool. Okay. But if you want to live above average, look, man, that somebody's gonna say something about you. Somebody's gonna be talking about you. And I mean, if you want to, especially if you're on camera or you're traveling, going through the airport, or maybe you got some type of job, maybe you're the top salesman or whatever. Somebody's going to be saying something about you, especially because if the women see you on top, you're the top guy in the company, or in the city, or maybe you're a promoter. The women are going to flock to you by default, and that's just what it is. And somebody always going to be saying something. So it just comes with the territory.
That is true. But for those that are out there, just be aware of your surroundings, because
Yeah.
I've seen brothers whole lives get turned upside down because they were just walking with their girls out here. Certain countries like, in Japan, they really don't care if you're walking hand in hand with a Japanese
Oh,
girl, because it's
they
against
care.
their culture to even say
They
anything.
care, but they're not going to really say anything.
Exactly.
You might have one person. I think I had one person in 3 years that asked me a question, but that's highly unlikely for anybody to say anything. They'll just look or whatever and just keep it moving.
Over there,
But
they're taught to save face and not really express what's really on their minds, because it's shown as a sign
Exactly.
of weakness.
exactly. But some things just come with the territory, man.
Right.
You know.
But see, the thing is it may not bother us, but it takes two to tango. It don't bother us, but some of these women that are out here, and this goes back to, it's like, some of these women are no good, and they'll step down and deal with foreigners, but some of these women, they're not really there to be the laughing stock in their own community. So some of these women, it gets too much for them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, some women don't really they're not aware of how the guy can be affected that they're dealing with too sometimes. And see, that's where you as a man, you have to really think. You have to be aware of this stuff. You have to know. You have to be. I guess be careful where you go with this woman. Sometimes you can't listen to what these women are saying all the time. You gotta be like, hey, well, okay, do I really want to go over there with her? You can't take what everyone says, because they might not really care as much as you care. So if you're walking with a woman in a certain area, and maybe it's not the best place to be, you kind of you shouldn't. I'm not saying you should know, but I think if you've been around a certain town, a certain city for a while, you should know certain areas where you probably shouldn't be there with this woman, Or you can say, hey, meet me there. I'll meet you at this restaurant. I'll meet you at this bar or whatever. You don't necessarily have to go at the same time, So all I'm saying is if you want to be with certain women, you might have to make adjustments. That's all I'm saying. It probably pays to be aware of certain situations that she's probably not willing to share with you. Because, that's just what it is, man. Everybody's not going to be honest with everything.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And that was one of the points that I wrote for men's biggest mistake they make in Asia is, a lot of men, they take a lot of what women say for face value. And I'm like, a woman ain't, that's not really in a woman's nature to really tell you the truth, because they know, damn, I don't know what's in this man's heart for me to tell him that, hey, I was fucking with this dude, some shit happened over here, he didn't want to talk to me no more, so I just bounced on with you, then he got his mind right, so then I went back to him. It's like, it's not in a woman's nature to really tell you everything, the truth. Like, the whole thing is finessing, because, with men, we got physical strength. With women, it's like, okay, I don't have physical strength to really manhandle this dude the way I have to, so I got to manipulate him through his mind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, man, it's all about winning, man. It's all about winning. It's all about, you're only as strong as the people that you have around you, man. So, it's like, for the average guy, he's going to have to meet a bunch of women to find the ones. It don't have to be just one woman, too, either. To find the women that's going to really be on his team so he can win and really do some fly shit out here, man. That's what it's really all about. And the ones that's not in alignment with what you doing or what you're trying to do, you got to get rid of them. Right. That's just what it is.
Right. So how to be successful in a relationship with most women? Remember, that was one of the points you brought up in the email.
Well, I mean, I would say you just have to find women that's willing to let you lead. Find women that's willing to somebody that you can get on the same page with, someone with similar morals, values. Someone that's just wants something out of life, man. Someone that's just want to win, or maybe they're already winning. Someone that's really, not just accept anything. Just take the leftovers. That's the lack mentality. Just someone that just don't stand for anything. That's, that ain't gonna work, man. You gotta be on the offense more than the defense, I believe. So, I mean, and you're only as strong as the people you have around you. The weak links, they got to go. And it doesn't have to be just one woman either. As a matter of fact, if I was in my 20s, I would not get married today. I just wouldn't. You don't have to today. You can have 2 women and do whatever you wanted to do today. That's how it is.
Anybody would get married today.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm 21, if I was talking to a 21-year-old today, I'm like, dude, you don't have to get married today. These women are giving away the farm. I mean, right. A woman that's really into you today, she'll do anything. I mean, literally. I mean, if she thinks you're that dude, and she, like, if she knows what you go on and what you're trying to do, she's rolling with it. I mean, you could not do that 20, 30 years ago with a woman. She would be like, well, I need some type of commitment here. Yeah. But today, see, a lot of the people, younger people today, they're not trying to hear no marriage, and ain't bonding to no religion. They don't care what you believe. They ain't trying to hear none of that crap that was passed down to my generation. You know what I mean? So right. I get it, and I understand it. But you don't have to get married today. You really don't. You can do a lot today more than ever without being married if you have the right people around you. And that's just what it is, man.
No, like the women of today are just unscrupulous. It's a lot of these women. They don't They're doing it for the gram. They're doing it for social media. It's like it's a very social media driven
That
society today, especially with putting your relationships on. I remember some of my relationships, you know, kind of took a turn because I didn't want to put them on the gram. I didn't want to put them on Facebook. It's like, bitch, I gotta show you to everybody. It's like I'm barely on social media anyways. Like, why does does that signify my love if I put you on a social media platform that I don't use? Like,
that type of woman, I would stay away from.
yeah.
Anyway, the woman that you see on Instagram getting all the likes and the shares and all that, I'd stay away from that woman. You can't really build nothing with a woman that's like that, because it's like it's too much attention. You know, she's not.
Everybody's on it. Everybody's on it. It's just how you use it.
Yeah, but that woman that you see getting all the likes and the shares, and she show up for parties every once in a while, you can't really build anything with somebody like that. It's just like they have a different mindset. It's like they act like the internet is like everybody's life. Look, there's the internet and then there's real life. You know, yeah, you can meet people off the internet, yeah, but everyone's not on the internet. Everyone doesn't know what you're talking about. You know, I mean, when you meet people in person, this is real life. I shake your hand, I introduce myself. It's real life, you know. Real life, people have responsibilities, people have bills, people are looking for opportunities, people have jobs, people have kids. And most of these women that's online, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and I met a lot of these people, by the way. They're kind of like in a fairy tale world. Most of them, everything they do is kind of like it's like a persona that they put on. It's not really real. And when you meet them in person, you're gonna find out real quick this person is not who they claim to be. You know, it's kind of like they're shy, reserved. You know, they don't know how to talk in person. They have no personality. So you can't really build anything with anybody like that. You know, it's kind of like they're living a double life. They have like a split personality. You know, so that's just been my experience with the people I came in contact with, like that. That's online and Instagram. It's like
it's a process
it's
of
weird.
trial and error.
Yeah, it's gonna be some trial and error regardless of who you are. You know, especially in the United States of America, you can't have smooth sailing relationships in this country. It's impossible.
I mean, I think to be honest, man, I think America is not really saying much, but America has the best women in the world. All right, and I've been to these other countries. I've dealt with these women. I've dated every woman of every race. I'm telling you, there's no place like America, and a lot of men that travel, especially overseas, like there's nothing wrong with traveling, but once you travel and really dealt with women overseas, you'll find out like, damn, you know, American women is the best. Even when I went to Canada, like I was living in Canada for like four years. And the women up there really wasn't shit. And I'm like, damn, like people think because the country's so close, like it borders America, that they're similar, so it's not that really hard to connect with them. I'm like, no, it's extremely hard to connect with them because most of those women up there, they're just natural born feminists. Like feminism has been up there, you know, it's been popularized up there way before America caught on to it. You know.
Yeah, Canada, it's an interesting place. Canada's a Commonwealth, right?
I believe so.
I think so. Yeah, that makes a difference. There's a lot of hippie chicks up there that I met, you know, in Canada. But when I went to Vancouver, I felt like I was still in America, man. Really. I mean, the attitude is different. People are much more straightforward or whatever. But I didn't really see too much difference, man.
You see, and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, visiting and living there, because I said the same thing when I used to visit. When
No,
I used to visit Regina, Saskatchewan, and yes, it's called Regina. I used to say Regina when I went up there, but the people was like, no, it's Regina. So I'm like, all right, whatever, whatever y'all want to call it. So I used to go to Regina, Saskatchewan on the weekends, and I said the same thing. But when I lived there, dude, I mean, like, first of all, them people up there, them folks up there don't really like Americans like that. You go up there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And in 1 week, in 7 days, you'll get into at least 3 different altercations. And all of them are based off of just you being American. They don't want to say it. They'll say it if you get them angry enough. They'll say it. They'll be like, oh, stupid fucking Americans, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, that's what it is.
Yeah,
you know,
what it is up there, what I found interesting, is very segregated up there. You have one group, like, one group say, hey, we're not, I'm not Canadian, I'm French. I'm like, what? It's like very segregated up there. So it's like, it's kind of weird. And then you have a lot of people that don't like people that's from the U.S. up there. So, but then I'd be like, well, yo, check this out. I say, hey, this is still North America. You still part of the whole North America thing. But then they'll be like, well, technically, yeah, but you know what I mean. No, I don't know what you mean.
yeah.
So it's kind of weird how it's the mindset of people up there. But at the end of the day, they're still confused just like people here. That's why I say it's not too much different. It's a lot of segregation, a lot of confusion amongst people. It's just like living here, man. It's the same crap.
I mean, it is bad in America, but I think guys don't really know how good they got it in America when it comes to women. I know a guy right now. This dude lives in L.A. and basically he's a loser. He just turned 24.
Already?
He works at a hot dog stand. He's still living at home with his mom's. And this
that's pretty young though. That's pretty young. 24. That's
at 24 I was getting it. At 24, I never applied. I always aimed high. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, a 24 dude, you shouldn't be filling out applications at the hot dog stand. I'm not trying to shit on nobody's job out there, but it's like, you shouldn't. If you have dreams and aspirations on moving to Japan, because he wanted to move to Japan, now he wants to move to Europe.
Really?
I'm like, you're gonna have to get up off your ass at that hot dog stand and get up out your mom's house. But
that's true.
The thing is, sometimes when he calls me to ask for advice, he's like, man, I just can't stand fucking women over here. I can't stand women over here. I'm like, and then he'll say, well, Asian women are better, or European women are better, Eastern European women are better. I'm like, dude, but you've never been with them. How can you miss something that you never had? You dig what I'm saying? So I'm like, you right there, because I told him, I'm like, do you know how easy it is to get women in California? Those are the most cooperative women in the world.
Yeah.
Every time I went to LA, women would just come up to me. They talk to me. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't do nothing.
Yeah. LA is it's easy to talk to women in LA. I agree with that. But what I would say, if you're a guy living in America, or just North America, period, even South America, and if you have problems with women here, you better get that thing corrected before you go elsewhere. Because if not, well, you're in for a world of hurt.
Exactly.
That's what I would say on that.
You're going to fly all the way to the end of the earth to deal with a woman who is shitting on in her own community. And now she's shitting on, well, she's finessing you. You don't even realize it, because a lot of dudes, they let that accent get to them. That's what it is. It's like, oh, they don't
Yeah.
know no better. You know, a lot of
It's
people
something that
treat Asians over here, oh, they don't know no better. Just give them a
shit.
pass. I'm like, these people know what the fuck
No,
they doing.
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're very. A lot of these women are very clever. But what I do, you know, I'm older now, so I'm not as. When I was younger, I was naive to a lot of things. But I'm older now, and I have more life experience. And when I meet these women now, like I tell them what's up. I tell them what I'm trying to do. You know, so it's no. So I put everything on the table basically, and I force them to make a decision whether they want to stick around me or not. So either you in or you out. My life, my word, my show. So you know that's just what that is. So most women, you know, they're gonna leave, which is fine. You know, that's the whole idea. Filter out the women that's really um, down, and the majority of them, kick them out of here, get them up out of here, get them away from me. You know, so that's not. But me being that I'm older now and I've had a lot of you know, trial and error, I understand more now. But when you're young, you just don't know. You just don't know, man. It's only but so much that someone can tell you.
You got kids?
No,
Oh, okay. Your parents like never like came at you and be like, "Hey, how come you ain't giving me no grandbabies?" Blah 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 blah. They never said that.
many times, many times. And my aunt still say that today. Because, you know, my parents, they passed away like 2 years ago.
Oh, sorry to
But,
hear. Sorry.
yeah, no, they lived for a long time, man. My parents lived to be 80. My mom was 83, and my dad, he died, he was 85. And my grandmother passed last year. She was 102. They lived a long time, man, you know. Yeah, but my aunts, they still talk like that today. But,
Right.
yeah, it's gonna happen, but you know, but
Right, right. So, another thing is, you wrote down right here how you made the best of a works. Excuse me, how you made the best of a worst experience living in Japan.
yeah, I just well, first, like I said earlier, I did not want to go to Japan. I didn't know anything about Japan. Didn't want to go. Didn't know the location. When I heard I was going to Japan, you know, I was like, how is this gonna be? I mean, I'm gonna be, you know, the flight for 15 hours from uh, Chicago at the time. So I'm like, I gotta fly from Myrtle Beach to I think it was Myrtle Beach to Atlanta, then Atlanta to Chicago, and you know, so I didn't want to go. So when I got to Japan, you know, I was scared as shit. So you know, I'm on we on the plane, sitting on the plane for 30 minutes, 40 minutes before we got to go off. So that had me even more afraid, you know, than anything. So, you know, just we flew in the Air Force Base, and in I think the first 90 days. Well, it took me 2 days to get to the base, Yokosuka, the Navy base. So, you know, I just had a hard time adjusting to just living over there. The language barrier. Certain places, you know, they don't speak no English, and if they do speak English, it's very little outside of Yokohama and Tokyo, the bigger cities or whatever. So I had a hard time adjusting. You know, the women were different, of course. You know, I wouldn't even think about no women. You know, before I went, women wouldn't even cross my mind. Just the whole living situation and lifestyle. So I just after about 6 months, I kept getting into trouble, getting written up, and I made when I made E4, I just made a decision, man, that I'm just make the best of this my experience over here. And by that time, but when I made E4, it was like I had like a year over there, year and a half or something like that. So I just said, hey man, I'm gonna just make the best of this experience, even though I want to go back home, want to get out of here, but um, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. I knew I would have a hard time getting out if I start doing stupid stuff like a lot of people started doing, just to get kicked out so they get tired of you or whatever.
Right.
So I said, hey man, I'm gonna just make the best of this experience. So I started meeting some of the Japanese people that were local in the city, and some of the Japanese people that were in places like Tokyo at the clubs and all these car events, bike events, or whatever. And they just showed me the real what's really going on over there, how things really happen over there. So once I met those people, that's basically how I made the best of the experience, man. If you meet the right people over there, you can do a lot. You can accomplish a lot. You can live much better than the average man or woman moving to Japan from anywhere, really, man. It's because, like I said, this goes back to what I said earlier. You're only as strong as the people that you have around you. And your life is going to be dictated upon the relationships you make. So that's just what it is, man. It wasn't easy, man. No one ever said it was going to be easy, but that's, a lot of trial and error because I was so young, man. I was so young and inexperienced. I got taken advantage of a bunch of times. I got my feelings hurt a bunch of times. But hey, I just learned from it, man, and I kept it moving.
Feelings hurt
That's
from who? From a woman? Like, what was your worst
Men and
experience
women.
with a woman over there?
Men and women. Oh, I mean, it's like if you're hanging out with somebody for a long period of time, maybe I stayed over at their house many times, and probably 6 months, 8 months go by, and all of a sudden she just cut me off. No, she don't answer the phone. She don't call me no more. No explanation.
Anyway.
So well, that's never happened to me before. That never happened to me before until then. So it's like when I see her months later, she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. You're a nice guy. I just had so much going on or whatever. It's that type of thing or whatever. So that happened to me like, that happened to me like 2 or 3 times. But the first time was always the hardest because it never happened to me before. But but then I moved on. I started meeting other people that was better than her. So, stuff like that. And I had the guys that stabbed me in the back, guys that were jealous for whatever reason, And I had guys that been around me for 2-3 years. I thought they were my partners. I thought when we got out, we was gonna keep in touch with each other. That wasn't the case. When I was about to get out, one of the dudes was like, basically, forget him. I don't care what he do. I'm not keeping in contact with him. So I'm like, yo, we've been together for 3 years, and I didn't know he felt that way.
He was black, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's that type of deal. I'm like, so I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm getting out anyway. I'll just,
And that was one of the things I wanted to touch on that I wrote in the email that I sent you was the black travelers community in Asia, because I couldn't help but notice this one cat. I don't want to say his name, but towards the end of his video, he was talking about like, yeah, I'm making these videos for not just myself, but for everybody because we have, a black travelers community going on out here in Asia, strong, and I'm trying to build with it. I'm like, dude, there ain't no black travelers community over there.
No,
Like,
it ain't,
just a
man.
bunch
You
of
don't.
There's a bunch of black folks who add each other on Facebook and different messenger apps, and all they do is argue. It's the shade room for real,
Yeah,
in these chat
man.
rooms.
Yeah, you don't. Um, it's no camaraderie over there with black people or anybody.
Yeah,
Really,
anybody.
you just have a bunch of people that's all over the place. That's basically how it is. I don't see people. I don't see any black people or any white people come together in Japan. I see people. Overhear people say, "Hey, yeah, I met up with this person the other day or whatever." But I don't. Even people that's got out the military that I know, they don't keep in contact with people over there. They don't keep in contact with people until I go over there, and then I'll bring them together, and then I'll be like, "Yo, when last time y'all seen each other?" It's like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's no camaraderie. No, that's a myth.
Yeah, there's a lot
You
of
know.
foreigner on foreigner hate that goes on out here in Asia. It's like, and I speak mainly for, for as far as black folks because, a lot of other races of people, like when they meet each other in their own community, they stick with each other. Like
Yeah,
you really understand the people better. So a lot of people think it's like, okay, you get a job, you start dating a women, and then you know people. Like, nah, like you really know people when you enroll and take classes at a university because money's off the table, business is off the table. It's just you and that other individual you're sitting next to, you and the other people that are in your class, and all that other shit is off the table. It's just you getting to know and trying to work with each other. So you get to know
yeah,
their background, and you see when Chinese hang, they'll roll 10, 20 deep. And you ask them like, "Damn, did you know each other before you moved over here?" They're like, "No, like we're Chinese, so we just stick together," or "We're Indian and we stick together." Black folks, we don't really have that concept. And what sucks about it is when you first come over here, you want to link up with other black people. But the thing
yeah,
is, once people start crossing you over and over and over again, you're like, damn, I'm starting to notice a pattern that my own people hate me even more over here. And, we at least somewhat got along better back home. So it's like, okay, I'm going to
yeah,
just stay away from my own kind, which is terrible, but you got to do what you got to do. And the thing is, you see each other in public, you might say hello, but
yeah,
you get into these groups, people are arguing, people are fighting. And then when you meet up with somebody else that's black, it's like either people show up hours late or they don't show up at all. It's
yeah,
like
yeah. All of that stuff you just talked about happens, man. All of
a
it
lot of a
happens.
lot of black folks only come together when it's time to go to the club.
Yeah,
Like
that's
we
true.
like
Or
all
like,
of
or when it's a mutual friend or somebody that they know,
yeah.
they'll come out then too. That's what happens when I go to Japan. They'll come out if I say, "Hey, "Yo, I'm at such and such place." Then you have people that haven't seen each other for years. They'll come out, but everyone's coming out to see me though. You know, so they'll come out when I flew in there, but they don't see each other, and they stay in the same neck of the woods though. That's what's crazy. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, and when you move overseas, man, it's like that's an opportunity for you to work on yourself, learn and build up your own brand and build up your own business. And learn how to save too. Because a lot of time can be wasted if you let it go to waste overseas. 'Cause
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of these other, not necessarily countries, but a lot of these towns in these other countries, I would say, they don't really have a nightlife. It's not like even if they do, it's not the same versus being here in America. It's
mhm.
like in Japan, for example. they don't really have a bar where you can go to right down the street. You know what I'm saying? It's not really like that. Yeah, there's bars, but they probably gonna be inside the mall, or it's gonna be in the hotel. You know, it's not gonna be like, I can't leave if I'm in Japan. I can't leave and go down the street to Fridays. It's not really like that. It's not really built like that. It's like they got little spots where you don't even know exists. They got the hostess bar or that type of spot. But that you got to drive like, man, you might have to drive 30, 40 minutes, to get to places like that. Or if it's a train ride, you might have to. That might be a 30-minute train ride. So, it's not a lot of these. It's not convenient. It's not really, a lot of these places aren't built like that. So that's the thing. That's one of the biggest problems that I had. Nothing was convenient really. It's not like in America. I'll just jump in the car. I'll drive 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. The bar is around the corner. You can't really do that in Japan. Unless you're in Tokyo. Outside of Tokyo, it's not really like that. That's why it's so difficult for people to have a social life. So, if you work with somebody, that's where you're gonna 9 times out of 10 where you're gonna meet somebody at, in the building where you work at or whatever. But it's very difficult. It's a very difficult place to live, man, for most people. It is.
Right.
You have to be very disciplined, But that's why. That's what time comes in that. You're gonna have this extra time, so just spend that time building, doing something that's productive.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I see like a lot of when I did go in some of these chat groups, where it's like 80 black folks in this line messenger group, or about 2,000 in the black in Japan or black in China group. I'm like, man, we got all these people in here, and nobody's trying to like build a business with each other. Nobody's trying to connect with each other. Nothing. It's.
I think in most cases, man, they don't know how to. They don't know how to. That's what I think.
Somebody brings it up. Somebody at one point in time brings it up, and then when that idea gets brought up, it's like, yeah, that's cool, but it's just all talk and no action. So it's like, you want to get stuff done, you got to take things in a matter of your own hands and do it by yourself.
Yeah, but they don't want to put the work in.
Exactly. You see, like everywhere Chinese people go, they build a Chinatown wherever they go.
Yeah.
Every city in the world is a Chinatown, but black folks in Japan, there's not an African town or a Melanoid town or none of that.
No. Even if it was,
that should get shut down.
They would be attacked. Yeah. See, but see, that's the argument that people tell me. They say, hey, you're doing this or you're doing that. Aren't you afraid? I'm like, let them come. I'm not living in squalor. Let them come. I mean, I'm not gonna live like that. I'm not gonna live in fear. I'm sorry. That's the argument that a lot of black people will make. And even some other people, they'll say, "Hey, you weren't afraid to say what you said." I'm like, no. I say what I felt. I mean, we can agree to disagree. But so some people are afraid of IRS. All kind of craziness. But I'm like, look, man, I'm not gonna starve. I'm not gonna live in squalor for anybody. I mean, I don't know what to say. I'm not out here hurting anybody. I'm not I'm not doing anything illegal. But I'm trying to make the most money as possible. That's it. I mean, so if I don't know, but a lot of people, when they make a certain amount of money, they start getting nervous. They be like, hey, I don't know, man. It's just people are
like
weird,
a,
man.
like they're not supposed to have it. The money you
Yeah,
get, you're not supposed to. I'm like, damn, like that's mighty strange, you know.
yeah,
And then it's like, you have a plan to build and build a business with other folks, and it's like, damn, if this business is successful, then we might make too much money, and that might make the people around us uncomfortable. And it's like, man, who cares?
yeah,
Like, who
yeah,
cares?
yeah. Yeah. I've had conversations with people like that. I'm like, what? I'm
On
like, what are you
top of that,
talking?
it's like you ain't gotta. Everything is on the internet now. People are building their business on the internet now, so it's like you don't have to be. If you that scared, cats don't have to come together and own a building, which is a good thing. But cats can come together and make something happen on the internet. But we don't think
Yeah,
like that. Like other Chinese people, they get together, it's a business. White folks, they get together, they're trying to build a business. They're trying to take over, whatever. Other
yeah.
race of people, they do that. They try to get things popping, but us is like, nah, I'd rather work for somebody else. But then keep on telling everybody how much of a boss I am. I'm like, that don't
Well,
make no
that's
sense.
just talk. Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
talk. They. I think a lot of people started. They got that from the rapper Rick Ross. They stopped on, that. I think I don't even know why he started saying that. To be honest, I mean,
He's a boss. I mean, he ain't
yeah. I
working for
mean, he
nobody.
look. Yeah, I mean, he looked out. He got a lot of investments, man. He looked out for
Yeah.
a lot of people. He got like 30 wing stops. It's crazy.
He got the
You know, he.
checkers out there in Atlanta, right?
Uh,
Yeah, he said
I
he owns
think
a few
so.
checkers
I
out
think
there in
so.
Atlanta.
Yeah. I think he got one wing stop and a couple checkers out here. And he
That's
let his sister run the whole damn thing, basically.
yeah,
You
that's a
know.
boss right there, But
Yeah.
when you try to, and it ain't even gotta be something that's in your name. You could do what Rick Ross is doing at franchise and other business. I try to get people to be like, hey man, to franchise in a company really don't cost that much. Like, like $40,000, $50,000. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
eight
Some of them
this
franchise. Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
this
Some of them
80 this
franchises. Go ahead.
I'm like this 80 of us here in the chat room. If we all put up like $500 or $1,000, we could own we could franchise into a Subway, and then keep doing
Yeah,
that all around the world. But
yeah. Some of these franchises, it's not as expensive as you think. Yeah, not at all. Cause what's that? It's that cinnamon. What's that
Cinnabon,
Cinnabon. Yeah, that's like 50,000. If I'm not mistaken. I think you gotta have like 50,000 liquid and another 30,000 in savings, something like that. I thought it would be like 200,000, 300,000, but no, it's not even. That wasn't the case at all. So
no, see,
some of these franchises, they don't want that much money up front. I was kind of surprised.
no, it's not that much, And then I know somebody he franchised in the two Subways. And he don't work.
Yeah,
He don't
yeah,
work.
yeah. But I don't know, man. It just depends on the person, man. You gotta have a lot of drive, determination, goals, ambition. And you have to believe that it can happen. Some people don't believe that it can happen. Just like I think it's a lot of times, man. It depends on how you were raised and who you were around and your experiences. I think being that we was in the military, I really think we have an advantage over most people. I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't have no proof for that. But I believe that, man. Because if I really think about the people that most people that I was in the military with, and I still talk to them today, I think, and I compare them to like the rest of the people that I know that haven't been in the military. We have an edge. We don't believe that. We believe that most of us believe that anything's possible. You can't, even if you don't really know how it could happen, you don't necessarily say, "Hey, forget about it." It's never gonna happen. It's like, I mean, how can you have an attitude like that? How can you say not something's never gonna happen, even without even knowing how, even without knowing the details on how it did happen for somebody? That's just it's this crazy way of thinking, in my opinion.
Right, it's like you forcing yourself to fail before you even started, and it's like other people that have became successful, they never thought like that. Now, sure, it was they had to climb up mountains in order to get to where they at. You read about some of these stories, like somebody's like, man, I wanted to own a business in this, but I kept failing, but I kept trying until I got it, and then it worked for me. And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's consistent. Nothing is just gonna, unless you were born in a wealth, man, nothing's just gonna fall in your lap. And even people that are wealthy, they fuck that up. Some people manage to fuck that up too.
Yeah, a lot of them do. But this is why a lot of guys, I know don't do very much because they'll get with a woman, and she'll basically knock every idea down that he comes up with. Basically, a lot of these women that these guys get with, they just want the guy to work a job. That's it. Any other ideas? Forget about it. This is why a lot of guys get divorced in Japan. That's why they just can't take it no more. Because the woman they're with, she wants him to conform, just work the job. Anything else, that's unacceptable.
Right.
Yeah, because it's like in Japan, you're not gonna. Most women, they ain't trying to be no trendsetter. They ain't trying to be on YouTube doing no videos. That's unheard of. Now, I'm not saying that some of them don't do it, but I'm saying the average woman, they're like, what? I'm on camera? Like, oh my God. And as a matter, somebody told me months ago, like last year, somebody told me that if I was in Japan, I wouldn't be able to do the amount of videos that I do on YouTube. They say I would go to jail. I said, really?
Yeah,
they said they said I probably end up getting 2 years. I said, oh my goodness. That's why I never moved there then. I'm never going there.
Yeah, it depends. Like they do that out here in Thailand. Like some of these kids that go to school to want to be like music video directors or movie directors or TV sitcom directors, they make them go through a military boot camp, and they put them through strenuous training, so that it's like, to get in their heads, like, hey, you're not going to make us look bad in the media. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. If you do that, you're going to go to jail. So, but they make them earn that. And they do that in China as well. Like, you can't just put whatever you want out there on TV or in movies out there in China. That's why a lot of their entertainment is real boring, and a lot of people don't care because you have to, if you're Chinese, you have to show a certain image of China or Chinese people in a certain way. Now, some of it I understand, but it limits them. It limits their creativity. You know? So they say like in a show, for example, in a movie, there can be a white guy in there, that is a love interest for the woman.
Yeah.
But you have to show that the woman is getting back with the Chinese man towards the end of the movie. They do stuff like that, but they don't. A lot of people, they don't put enough money into filmmaking, the filmmaking industry over there. They try to shut that down over there, and they prevent any film studio from California, wherever, or in Vancouver, to even go to China and film a movie over there. You can't even do that anymore. They just shut that down like last year.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's
I heard
yeah.
certain movies don't even make the cut in
Oh
China.
yeah. Oh yeah. So they're, over here, it's you got to show a certain image, and a
Yeah,
lot of
I
these
understand. I understand.
a lot of these women, and that's another thing. Like the reason why I ask so many questions, and some women like, damn, you ask so many questions. I'm like, I got to know this because
Yeah,
one of the questions I asked women over here is like, okay, who are some of your favorite actors, actresses, or entertainers
that's a
from
good
Thailand
question.
or China that you like? And 9 times out of 10, they were like, I don't have any. I don't like none of this shit. And I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's a
I'm like,
problem.
yeah. I'm like, you don't like your own people? No, I don't. I don't care. I'm like, what's your reason? So this one chick I was hanging out with last week, I asked her. I said, what's your reason? And she said, well, Thailand, all their images is like, you got to be white, and then you got to be skinny and white. And obviously, I don't fit it because she had a big ass. So she was like, I don't fit none of that. So I just really don't care because,
Oh,
it's shit
okay,
on women like
okay,
me. So I don't really care for whatever they got going on. So I'm like,
okay.
okay.
Well, that's understandable. Okay, I understand
But
that.
some women like in China, but in China to me, I'm like, I don't think there's any excuse because a lot of them are like very nationalistic. They really go hard for nationalism over there. So I met this one chick. She was built like a sister. She was real fine. I went on a date with her. She was like, she kind of had an attitude, and I'm like, damn. It seemed like you didn't watch too many Love and Hip Hop videos, or you didn't been around too many soft ass brothers that was probably talking shit about each other in front of you, and you just picked up on that. But so I asked her, I'm what, what actors and entertainers in China do you like? She said, "No, I don't like none of this shit." I'm like, "Do you have a
Uh
reason why?"
oh.
She goes, I don't care. I just don't care about anything about
Yeah. See
China.
that. See, that's
Nothing.
a problem. If it's like
Yeah,
that, if that's the case,
yeah,
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 that's the problem. That's a red flag to me.
yeah. It's like
You
I
know.
can't respect you if you don't like anything about yourself. If I'm not learning from you, and then a lot of brothers that are out there that are trying to move to Asia, it's like y'all gotta understand too. It's like the same way I think about these women that can't teach me nothing about their own is the same way these people feel about you. Because the way they
Yeah.
view black folks is like it's like they view us as the stupidest people on earth collectively. It's like you
Yeah.
have all the resources in Africa and you guys don't even know how to manage that. There's a lot of infighting. You're letting people
Yeah.
colonize your countries over there, let people take over. So it's like they just don't respect you. And they see the
Well,
images that you portray in America, and it's like, okay, damn, we don't
yeah.
respect you because you'll do anything in front of the camera. So when you come over here and it's like you're putting on their kimonos, you're liking their form of entertainment, you
Yeah.
know, they're not learning nothing about your history and you don't really care about nothing about your history. Those
Yeah.
women are like, okay, I gotta be with you anyways because I've been ostracized in my own community.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it's
you
like
know.
it's they're gonna let it be known that in this situation here I'm on top and you at the bottom. You submissive to me, and a lot of dudes follow suit for that. Follow suit in that type of situation, which I don't know why. But
They feel the need. They have to. In most cases, But
got
the
the upper hand. Men
yeah.
got the upper hand out here. When you think about it, it's like here you picking up all the women that's the leftovers, the trash. It's like they should be eating
Yeah.
out the palm of your hand. It's like, bitch, I can get on a flight right now and go to another Asian country, or I can go back to my home country and I'm Gucci over there. I can get a big
Yeah.
booty broad back home. You know what I'm saying? It's you that need me because it's like
But
you don't.
the
Go ahead.
but the guy, he doesn't realize that. In most cases, he doesn't realize it. He's new.
Right.
You know. You can go. You're right. There's a lot of places you can go. You can go. You can go to Singapore.
Yeah.
Singapore is just like America. Really. I mean, you can go. You can go to Dubai. You come back to America. You can go to Australia. you go to any Western country, and you be in demand, no doubt about it. But some guys just don't feel that way. And a lot of these. Let me tell you one thing I noticed about as far as the judging, people making judging about us. These people that's judging, they've been colonized, just like us.
Yep.
So you got the blind judging the blind.
Well. They're allowed to own their own businesses.
Exactly.
They're allowed to build their own
So that's why when they start talking, I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought that up. As far as history go, a lot of these people they don't know history. They don't know. They don't know their own history.
And that's the mind blowing shit that people. I try to get through people's heads through these videos. It's like y'all don't understand. Y'all come over here. Y'all take every Asian studies course in America. You do your research, Googling shit. You learn more about their culture, whatever. And then when you come over here and you try to impress people by how much you know about their shit, they'll be like, okay, and we don't give a damn.
They don't care. In Japan, they don't care about no great Buddha.
No.
They don't care.
Oh, that shit is for tourism. That shit is like that's just there just for a money maker.
Yeah, they don't care nothing about that crap. Now they'll play along with it if need be, if it's a family come together or something like that. But they don't care nothing about that crap. They'd be like,
and then like with China, some of their history. If you talk about it in public, you go to jail.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because the Cultural Revolution.
Oh,
okay. When Mao Zedong was in charge, and how under his ruling, like a bunch of Chinese people got killed. And
okay.
You talk about that over there, you go to jail.
Wow.
Like, for real. I remember I remember one time I just said the word Cultural Revolution, and this chick was like, hey, we can't talk about that. We'll get flagged. And I never forget, I was in a Starbucks, and this dude, like, he was just sitting there, and this white dude, and like the police came in. It was like, hey, we need to see your phone. We need to check your text messages right now. Show us your phone. They looked in his phone, and they put him in handcuffs and took him away.
Why? What was on his phone?
I'm pretty sure it was like he was having a conversation with somebody that he shouldn't have been having.
Wow.
You can't through text, phone conversations, you cannot talk about certain things in China, especially the Cultural Revolution and the history.
They monitor people like that?
Hell yeah.
Damn. Whoa. Yeah. Man, they don't play around over there.
And they got that firewall. Like you can't get on YouTube. You can't use Instagram. You can't use Facebook. You can't use nothing.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Western world. You can't even use your Gmail account. Your email. You can't email nobody over there.
Yeah, I heard about that, man. This one guy, he used what they call that thing?
A virtual protection network.
VPN. Yeah, VPN. And he said even that is difficult sometimes.
Yeah. Because they'll crack down on some of the IP addresses that people are using over there. So they shut those down. So you got to contact the company and be like, hey, they shut my shit down. Like, what can I do? And they'll be like, oh, okay, well, we'll come up with a custom IP address just for you. And then we'll email it to you when it's ready. And then just use that. So it'll work, but then eventually that'll get shut down. It's very hard to use the VPN over there in China.
Yeah, but I understand where the government is coming from, though. They're thinking about the images, and they want to control. They don't want the people to be. They like the people to think a certain type of way. They don't want them to have. They don't want them to be like people here in America, basically. That's what I get it. I get it. I understand. I get it. I understand. Now, I might not agree with the practices and how they go about doing it, though, because there's no perfect way, because it's just too much technology out here today. But I get it. I understand where they're coming from. You know, but but the thing about that is, I say, if you don't want people to get on the internet with certain sites, why let these companies provide internet access? That's what I say. Be like North Korea, do it like that. But I think if China was to do that, then they lose money, because I know they got a lot of they got into technology and everything. That's like one of their biggest money makers over there. So, but I think it's very difficult to monitor stuff like that. It's like a give and take. We say, okay, we want to make money. We need the internet access in here. It's going to be limited.
Right. You see, there's like a huge misconception about China, and that's because like they don't really show their images throughout the world. You can see some of it on like Twitter or whatever.
Yeah.
People have a huge misconception. Like I remember when I was in China, I called my homeboy. I'm like, yeah, I'm in China. He goes, man, I know that place is futuristic over there. I bet they got moving sidewalks and flying cars. I'm like, what?
Nope.
Like it's still.
Oh, no.
I'm like, it look like the 1800s over here. Like you still got people taking a shit and taking a piss in the middle of the street out here.
Yeah.
You see men taking a shit in flower pots right next to the mall. I'm like, God damn, so much pollution and it's crazy.
Man, there's some places like that here in America, bro.
Yeah, I'm talking about worse. Nah, it's worse in China.
You think so?
Oh, I know so.
Wow.
I used to live there. I know so. I remember they built, I'll never forget, on line 14, Jianghu Zhuang Station in Beijing. That's like on the southwest side. They built like a new apartment complex, this new condominium. Like it had a whole bunch of buildings stacked next to each other, real nice. Had like a park for kids, and it was cool. It was nice, but like there was like an open field right next to it, and it was filled with nothing but trash. Nothing but trash.
In a field?
Yeah, like it was, but it was like. It wasn't far from it. It was like, okay, you step out of your door, you walk outside, and within a few steps over, there's like a little area. I got video footage of it. It's like a little field or whatever. And it's nothing but trash. And I took a video.
Like a dump site?
Yeah. And it's like, damn, y'all don't have trash cans? Y'all put all this shit over here?
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah, I heard about that. I heard that they litter a lot over there. I heard about that. Yeah, in Japan, you don't see that. You're not going to see that in Japan. They don't litter.
You don't see that in Korea neither.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think it's just a different mentality, man. That's just what it is, man. Really,
it's real ratchet over there. It's man, a lot of people. They like. I heard somebody earlier today talking about, man, black women, they fighting in some of these nail salons. They fighting with the Chinese owners or whatever. I'm like, what's making us look bad? I'm like, dude, do y'all not know what these people do over there in China? I'm like, do y'all not know what they do? Like these people, there'll be a guy that'll rape like an underage girl out in public. A bunch of Chinese people walking by. And this dude was literally like sexually molesting this girl in public, and nobody would do anything. They'll just walk.
Really?
They'll just walk around the guy. Yeah, they'll do that. But the moment you as a foreigner go over there and defend yourself from somebody putting their hands on you or spitting on you, now everybody wants to beat your ass over there, and it's like,
you're a foreigner.
It's rules, fake nationalism.
See, that's I call it a double standard.
Yeah.
That's what I call it. See, that's the double standard. I don't like the double standards. That's the only thing that'll make me upset. I don't like double standards. Anyone, and that's why anyone that's around me, that if I find out that they have double standards, they got to go. I'm not
Word.
tolerating that. You know, one person can do this one thing, it's okay. When it's my turn, it's like the rules change. They go off. I'm like, oh wait a minute, what's up with that? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
can't do it. You know. But
Uh,
you know these other groups, you know the programming is strong in these other countries. So you know that's like been ingrained, like embedded into their minds. So you're not gonna you're not gonna be able to change that.
right, right, right. Well, all right then. You got any last words?
No man,
For
no, no. Just if anybody want to check out you know any of my stuff, just check me out on Guy on Girl TV and or check out my website chooseyourrelationships.com.
and your book one more time. Your book.
My book, Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is Splash, Head Above Water Channel. We over and we out. Peace.